Welcome to Growing Plants for Beginners, Episode 5, Growing Plants from Clippings. What? Leaves grow roots? Hello again. It's John from DIY for Beginners. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about growing plants from clippings. Basically, you can take a plant. Not every single plant does this, but certain ones do. We have a snake plant today. Snake plants are fantastic for this. You can actually cut a leaf off, and there's a way to replant them and grow a whole new snake plant, which I think is fantastic. Well, what a strange idea. So today we're going to go a little bit about how to do that. So like I was saying, these snake plants are really good for cutting leaves off and growing new plants. Now it's not a simple case of snip it off, throw it in the dirt. I suppose it might work, but I don't know how well it would work. I don't imagine it would work every time if it does work. So you cut the leaf at the base using your shears, and if you don't have a good set of shears, get a good set of shears. It's well worth it. Okay, so here's my snake plant. What you're going to do with your shears, I'm not going to do it because I've already done it, is you're going to take a low-lying leaf. First of all, if a leaf falls off and it's fresh, you could use that instead, and that would be the ideal choice. If not, you can cut the leaf at the base. You can cut it straight across. Okay, so now that I got my shears and my plant all ready, I'm going to find a leaf that I would like to take off. I'm going to do this one right here. Okay, so now the idea is you cut it at the base. So I'm going to cut it as low as I can to the soil. Oops, can't get in there all right. There we go. All right, so I'm going to get as close as I can to the soil. And I'm going to snip. There we go. Okay, so I got mine on kind of an angle, but there you go. So there's one of my snake plant leaves that I've cut off. And this is what we're going to use to grow a new snake plant. So one of the things is we're going to put it in a glass of water and let it sit to grow some roots. It's actually quite fantastic. And I love doing this with my son because he actually gets to see the roots grow over time. Now, it doesn't happen overnight. It can take weeks to months for it to happen. I find for me it usually takes about a month. So you can throw this in a glass of water as it is, or the best thing to do actually is, I'll show you right here. So you take the leaf and you cut on an angle up to the middle, okay? And then I'm going to cut again up on an angle to the middle. So I end up with like a triangular shape at the bottom of my leaf. This does a few things when I put it in the glass of water. One, it's not laying flat on the bottom of the glass, giving it a harder time to grow roots. This here, if it's sitting on the bottom of the glass, it has room to start growing roots. And this way it seems to get more water sucked up. Instead of like a small straight line, we have more surface area sucking up water. So I'm going to put this in a glass of water. What I like to do is, I don't like to use my tap water or any water from my house. You can. It's not crucial that you do what I do. But I just prefer not to use house water. I have a rain barrel outside, so I take some fresh rainwater from that. You want it at room temperature. You don't want it freezing cold or hot. So I take some water from my rain barrel, I put it in a glass, and then I sit this in the glass, and then I let it sit. Every once in a while I'll change the water, just because that's me. Again, you probably don't have to, but I like to. So it's going to sit in the water, and I just take a little glass, put it in there, so I can see it, watch it, and my son can watch it over the weeks, and hopefully it changes. All right, we're back. So a few months have passed. The magic of cameras. So yes, a few months have passed. Let's say that, and I've had my leaf soaking in water for a few months, and every few weeks my son and I go and take a look at it and see if it's changed. And this is what we got. All right, so there's my glass of fresh rainwater. Okay, so you want to put this. When you put your leaf in, you want to put enough water in. That's actually a little bit less than it should be. just because I was just playing with it. So what you want to do is you want to take your leaf and you want to bring the water up to a level where you're going to plant it. So wherever the soil level is going to be, that's where you want your water level. So in my case, you know, I'd want this probably like right around here, submerged in water, okay? And then when you change the water, try to keep it submerged at that depth. So here's two that have been sitting there for just over a month now. Not very long over a month, but over a month. Okay, so one is from my wife's snake plant, and one is from my snake plant. So here we go. Let's take a look. Look at that. Isn't that that's not camera magic? That's roots. That's fantastic. I love that. So now my leaf has roots that I can plant in soil and grow a brand new snake plant. So that's one of them. And here's the other one. This one's not doing so good. It's got two big roots. You see that? And well, maybe two big roots and a small one, or a few small ones, but nothing significant yet. So I'm going to leave this in the water for a little bit longer. This might grow, but I'd feel a lot more comfortable if it had more roots. That one there, there we go. Get a close-up view of it. That is fantastic. Look at all those roots. All right, so let's put it in a pot and see how it does. Okay, so now that our snake plant leaves have got some roots, they've been sitting in water for a month, we're going to plant them into a pot of soil. So I've got this pot here I bought. This pot is made of plastic, and it has a solid bottom. So what I did was I drilled some holes in it. You can take a look here. Let's take a look. There you go. There's my pot there. And in this one, I've drilled 5 holes in it. Now, a quick tip when you're drilling holes, if you want to drill holes in a pot, a good idea to do so you don't crack the pot. Not that I've ever done that. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So in order not to crack the pot, a good tip is to take some painter's tape and so basically what I did was I put a couple stripes this way, a couple stripes this way, and then I drilled my holes, and that seems to help so that you don't crack your pot. These holes are to help water the plant. A lot of people sometimes water their plant from the top, and that's usually not a very good practice. I highly recommend that you water from the bottom. The bottom watering, it helps prevent too much watering, I guess, because it'll soak as much as it needs up into the soil, and it encourages the roots to grow down. But yeah, so that's usually what I do. I will make holes in my pots, and I buy these cheap little saucers, or sometimes you can buy nice ones that match your pot. But for my purpose, I'm just going to use these cheap little saucers. And then while we're watering the snake plant, I just pour some water in there, maybe 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. I have some sterilized soil here. I always use sterilized soil for these beginning projects. So like these leaves are just beginning, so I like to use a sterilized soil. Same with seeds. I like starting seeds. I like to use a sterilized soil. And if you're interested in finding out how to sterilize this, make sure to check out my video on sterilizing soil. Okay, so now that our leaf is planted in the soil, you want to give it a good watering, especially the first time it goes into the soil. You want to get that soil nice and moist. Now, like I mentioned before, this is sterilized soil, and the hot water I had in it earlier moistened my soil already. But I'm going to give it a little sprinkle on top. I don't like to pour water directly on the soil. I find, it makes big holes in the soil and it pools, and I just find it much nicer and much more friendly on the plants, especially the younger, gentler plants. You can sprinkle some water over the top, but I prefer to actually feed them the water below. So this is, like I said, this is a new planting. So what I did was I collect my rain barrel water into these little jugs so I don't have to keep going out to my rain barrel. I got my little watering can, my sprinkling watering can, and we'll give it, a little sprinkle. All right, there we go. That's a lot of water. There we go. Okay, oops, so there we go. So I've put some water in the top. It's not coming out the bottom yet, so it definitely wasn't too much. And then I'm going to take my jug and I'm going to fill this full of water and have it start soaking up some water from the bottom. And that should be it. Our plant should grow, and make sure you check back in the future. Subscribe and check out my future videos, and we'll take a look back in on this in a few months to see how it's doing. All right, thanks for joining me. Bye. Once again, thanks for joining us here at DIY for Beginners. Be sure to check back often, hit subscribe, and hit like if you like the video.